Hello everybody, this is Leoname, and I am playing RPG Maker 2. And we are going to create our first dungeon. So let's get started. Press the button. Press button. Go to Edit Game. This will take you to the editor. Then from there you go to Menu, File, New, and this is very important. Make sure to choose beginner mode, so that way it'll load all of the preset data, and then from there go to Menu, File, Preferences, and then you can change it to hard mode if you want. It's up to you. So we're gonna create our dungeon. Go to Graphics from the menu and go to the Dungeon Editor. We're gonna create new data, and this will be the name of the dungeon. I'm just gonna call it Dungeon because that is a creative name. Go to Edit. It'll take you to this editor here. Now, here's a tip. In order to save space, I learned this through trial and error. In order to save space, what you want to do is start at the top left and work your way outwards, rather than starting in the middle. So that's my dungeon right there. Whoops. Forgot to create walls. Here are my walls. There's no texture on it. I would show the textures. Maybe I should do that right now. These are the different textures you can create, but I'm actually going to skip that because it takes way too long to apply textures. So I'm just going to skip it. So we got the dungeon. Now what we need to do is go to Menu, Graphics, let's see, World Organization. Create new data, and we're gonna set the name to Dungeon. There we go. And then next to data, go to Dungeon Database, and then select the dungeon that you had created. So that's about it. Save that. Go to the menu, go to Scripts, create new data. We're going to create a new script that is going to warp us to the dungeon. So we're going to edit the name and call this Enter Dungeon. Okay, so here, this is going to be the actual script. Click on this, and then there's like a whole selection here. Go to Party, Teleport, and Warp. This is going to warp the party to a location, and then you get to choose the location. So this is going to warp us to the dungeon, so select the dungeon that you had created. This right here, this menu right here where it says Preset World, Preset Town, Preset Shops, this is the World Organization, and Dungeon is the latest World Organization that we had created. So select that, and then click on this icon right here. This is actually going to be the XYZ axis, and then you get to choose where they warp. So they're going to warp right there. I had to double click on that to get the location. Okay, so save that and save that. Go to Menu, Scripts, Events, create new data. We're gonna call this Enter Dungeon. Okay, so this might look very intimidating because we have all this crap here, but don't worry about it. For now, just focus on the display, which is going to be the model of the event. The model of the event is going to be a staircase. So go to Objects. The direction is just going to be facing downwards, facing south. The model is going to be a staircase. Whoops. Wait a minute. Let me see if I can find it. There it is. It's a flat two-dimensional staircase. It's kind of weird, but yeah. Motion, you can ignore that. Start is going to be equal. Now what start is start means like how do I explain that? Like what you have to do in order for the event to do something. So for example, touch is when your character touches the event. Equal is when you're on top of the event, and that's what we want. Talk is when you're talking to an event. So if there's an NPC and you talk to the NPC, then the NPC will interact with you. Will do something. And then examine. If you examine an object, then it'll do something. Auto means that it'll do something on its own, regardless of what you do. Which is a little bit more advanced because you have to. It's not exactly multi-threaded. I mean, it is multi-threaded, but you have to tweak it a bit. Okay, anyways, I'm going too far into that. We're just going to do equal. And we're going to apply the script that we had just made earlier. Enter dungeon. It's going to warp us. So, basically, what we have here is start equal. So that means that when the character is on top of the staircase, on the two-dimensional staircase, it's going to apply this script, which warps us to the dungeon. So that's what we want. There we go. So now we have an event. Now we have to place the event. Go to Scripts, Event Placement, and you can just use one of these preset worlds. You don't have to create your own. You could just use one of these. I'll use the preset town, edit that, and then go to edit. And then you're gonna place, this is what the preset town looks like. I didn't create this. This is just something pre-made. So we're just gonna select a random location here, and there it is. There's the event. It's a two-dimensional staircase called Enter Dungeon, and when the character steps on top of the staircase, they're gonna warp to the dungeon. So that's it. So let's test it out. Let's go to Test Play, Start. There's the staircase, and it should warp us to the dungeon. The dungeon is very bleak. There's no music. We could edit that later on. But yeah, in order to exit out of the test play mode, you have to click. You have to press the start button and the select button at the same time. So I just click. I keep saying click, but yeah. I only say click when I'm using a mouse, or press when I'm using a controller. So if you're using a controller, you press the start button and the select button. As of now, there's no way to actually go back to town because I haven't created an event to go back to town, so we have to do that right now. So let's create a script called exit dungeon. Whoops. Exit dungeon. Okay, so from here in the script, go to Party, Teleport, Warp, and then go to Preset Town. This is where the party is going to warp when they exit the dungeon. And here's the dungeon. They're going to warp here. But the Z-axis is kind of messed up. So you have to press, what is it, the left L1? Oops. It should lock into place like that. So select that, and then exit out. Save that. And then we are going to create a event called Exit Dungeon. Okay, so from here, choose the model. Model, it's going to face north, and the model is going to be a staircase going up like that. It looks like a wall, but it's supposed to be a staircase. So the start is going to be equal, so equal again means that the party is on top of the event. Apply, we're going to apply the script that we just made. Exit dungeon. Save that. Go to menu, scripts, event placement. So now we have to create a new event placement. I said that very weirdly. A new. Okay, so create a new one and call it dungeon. This is the event placement for our dungeon. Okay, and then go to Data, Dungeon, Database, and select the dungeon that you created. Object set, we don't have an object placement thingy, so you can just ignore that. And then go to Edit, and here, whoops, I exited out, pressed the wrong button. We are going to place the staircase that we just made. It's facing the wrong way. It's actually facing... Okay. It's facing the wrong way, but that's okay. We can edit that later. So save that. Let me go to Events, Exit Dungeon. This is the staircase event. I set it to face north, but actually it should face south. Yeah. Okay. So now go to... We're not done yet. Go to Graphics, World Organization, Dungeon. We just created an event placement, so now we have to apply that to our world organization. So go to Events and select Dungeon, and that should be it. We should be done with it now, so let's test it and see. Warp. And we should be able to warp back. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. See you later. So I decorated the dungeon. Well, I didn't decorate it, but I changed the textures of it. So let's go inside and see. So it looks much better with texture. You can see that the blocks are very warpy. That's not a graphical glitch. That's actually something that can be edited so that blocks don't look repetitive. They look too warpy. I think I might change that. But anyway, there you go. So there's our first dungeon. There's no monsters, but yeah, we can always edit that later.